Never sure. What's up, Trajectory? So let me tell you a little bit about the performer that we have tonight. So about a year and a half ago, one of my coworkers, he knew everybody at work knows I do music and stuff. So he's like, "Yeah, I have a brother. He does music too. Would you mind doing something with it?" I said, "Yeah, have him call me." That was like a year and a half ago. Last week, I get a text. "Hey, what's up? This is Francisco's brother." So a year and a half later, I get that text, and it's our performer tonight. And I told him, "Hey, I'm having a session this weekend with Kanazi and the guys. Maybe you should come down." So he came down, and I don't think we've ever worked this hard before. We did 4 songs in one night because of him.
Oh wow!
Yeah, 4 songs. Yeah.
It wasn't even hard. It was magic. It was awesome.
Together, and it was a beautiful night. Just the way we all kind of were throwing each other ideas and stuff, and that's what it's about. When you make music, you want people to interact and be hands on. And that's exactly what he did. And I told him about Trajectory, and I told him, "Hey, let me talk to Sky, see see if he has a performer or not. Maybe we'll get you to perform." So he's never performed in his life. So this will be his first time. He's very talented. So he's very talented. I spotted that right off the bat. So here he is, David, also known as Demented.
You ready? You want to say something before you get started, David?
I think I'll speak after you.
Okay, cool.
Yes. It's the man. I hear the screams of my descendants by the torturous men. This inquisition, slaying my people over religion. Voice of God spoken through false to convert indigenous, change your ways of repent. All sins will be forgiven. The venom serpent's return, it was thought to be. But all the white man but was injustice and disease. High priest, hearted hand, blood shed from my yeast. For the hardest people started through the stomach's relief. People of peace, more sacred, and to die was a peak. The highest to reach, to please our God was the belief. Butchered by Spaniards was tricked into worshiping cowards. A whole society taken over and scattered. We're cleaning up the garbage that was conquered by carnage. Oppressed by our own soul, we never made it to college. Los Azteca to Mexica to Chicano freedom seekers, revolutionaries. That's Zapata and Bateria, leaders in the movement. Because results were producing. You did not hold your head high, we will survive. Gang violence, issue riots, reparations, and crime. And now we go to service, pay the verse, what's it been a while? So, ladies and gentlemen, that song was written when I was in prison. Did 13 years. Straight 13 years, 4 months, 8 days, 1 hour extra. You don't forget that. You don't forget your booking room. And I got into to my culture. I was living a fine line and stuff. In there, everything's politics. In there, everything is hands-on. You're forced to survive by aligning yourself with a side. And since I'm a descendant of a Mexican American, I align myself with a side. So I take my time to perfect my craft. I started writing when I was 12. With that, I just used to freestyle. Then when I was in prison, I focused so hard on learning how to write, learning how to articulate, to enunciate. I want you guys to understand every word and consonant and vowel that comes out of my mouth. I don't really like to curse. Sometimes it happens, but I try to keep it PG, And it's harder to create that way. It's harder to create because it's easy to put in filler. It's really easy, but I like a challenge. So when I got in tune with that self, I'm speaking like if I'm living it, because I did nothing but research. I was in a high level or level 4, and you ask for your knowledge. They don't just give it to you and stuff. Once you align yourself with these sides, you ask for that knowledge, and then they give it to you and present it to you and stuff. And you study, you learn Nawa, you learn how to talk. Little words, I forget stuff, but Wanichi, that's coffee. That's Kamati, Beneyuka. He knows what I'm talking about. So I got into that perspective and stuff, and I know how much we struggle as a society. And when I say white man, I'm speaking about Spaniards because they came and conquered us. You know, and then I transitioned into later on life, Zoot Suit riots, reparations in the 1920s. You know, when they were throwing us back to Mexico, and a lot of us are Catholic. I'm actually personally a Christian, but I kind of stand my state of being a Catholic, and I said that's why we go to service, pray the virgins, like the Virgin of Guadalupe, while we're sipping on wine. That's almost a double entendre because some people go drunk, and another person is when you communion, right? So that's the mindset that I got. Thank you for letting me articulate that. I appreciate your time. It was a pleasure.
Awesome, man. David. One more round for David, everybody.
And the fact that this is your first performance,
Yes, sir.
We did good.